Federation, and will leave in 2018 just after the Football World Cup.
This is your first time on RANEPA summer campus. How do you like it here?
It's great. It's also my first time to Kazan, so I'm really enjoying visiting Kazan because so much is said about Kazan, given its high ranking in the National Investment Climate Rating. Everybody talks about Kazan as an interesting place to visit, so I was pleased also to come to Kazan as well as to come to your very well organised summer campus. It's a beautiful location up in the mountain here, overlooking kind of the plains below. It's lovely weather. People seem really enthusiastic, all the students. Everywhere I go I see them in little groups, hard at work. I hear you've been working them extremely hard during the course of their time here. But they were very polite and attentive during my lecture earlier, so I really appreciated that they were awake and they asked very good questions. So the whole thing has been a good experience so far. I'm doing another event tomorrow as well. My lecture was really about the UK's economic transition since the early part of the 1980s. This is something that when I visited Professor Mao with my ambassador a few months ago, discussed. Actually, Professor Mao sort of compared Russia today with the UK economy in the late part of the 1970s and the early part of the 1980s, and how we went through this kind of big shift in the UK away from kind of the difficulties, economic decline that we suffered in the late part of the 1970s towards a kind of more service-based economic model which we see today. And so I talked about that, and I sort of drew out some lessons of kind of some of the challenges that Russia faces today in its economic model, including obviously the kind of the dependence on oil and gas exports, the kind of need to get more investment, the need to, as President Putin has himself said, invest in vocational and technical education. Russia has very, very good education outcomes, higher than the OECD average, but there's a real need for vocational training as well, to kind of support different types of productive labour through all sections of the supply chain. So we spoke about that. We spoke about things like privatisation, which is a very relevant topic for Russia in the here and now. Obviously, Alvosa was kind of privatised or part privatised a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's talking about Bashneft at the moment, and so that's an interesting topic for Russia. So we spoke about that, and lots of general economic issues that are as relevant for the Russian, UK, and other kind of economies in the global marketplace.